Welcome to your Astro forecast for the week of October 23rd. I'm Sarah Nicole. This is Twisted Goddess Tarot, and my mission is to help you navigate the cosmic energies with greater awareness. If you're watching right now, you're probably catching the replay. If that's the case, drop me a comment. Let me know that you're here so I can come back and say hi to you. So I am officially back from vacation. I know that I have a couple people that I need to catch up with and send messages to about booking readings. And I'm going to do that whenever I'm done with the Astro forecast and a couple other things I have to do for today. So I meant to do that as soon as I returned on Thursday. But I was on a cruise, for those of you who do not know, and I did not know that land sickness was a thing and that it takes a couple days to adjust being back on solid ground. So I did not get back to those of you that are on my list on Thursday and Friday like I planned to, but I will be reaching out later in the day, and then into tomorrow I'm going to be reaching out and scheduling some readings with you all. So today, this week is a big week. We don't have a lot to talk about, but the things that we have to talk about are big things. We are experiencing another eclipse. So some of you know that we are in between eclipses right now. We had that new moon solar eclipse last 2 weeks ago, and then this week we are walking into a full moon eclipse. And so times in between eclipses can feel chaotic, can feel as if we're kind of stuck in this weird loop, okay? And so just know that if you've been feeling that, if you've been feeling chaotic, if you've been feeling like things are just, it feels like things are being ripped away, but new things aren't being brought into, new potentials or opportunities aren't being put into your life, that is absolutely normal during in between eclipses, in an eclipse portal, if you will. Okay, so we're going to talk about the eclipse in just a moment, but first I would like to say happy birthday to all of the Scorpio babies, because today the sun moves into Scorpio and we welcome Scorpio season. So whether you're a Scorpio or not, we're all going to feel this energy over the next month. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto in modern astrology, the planetary body of transformation and personal power. It is represented by the Scorpion, embodying instinct and cunningness. In tarot, Scorpio is represented by the Death card, reminding you of your regenerative abilities, of your regenerative powers, of your ability to let go, of your ability to constantly have cycles of death and rebirth and renewal in your life. So as the sun moves into the constellation of Scorpio, you may feel a call to draw your energy inward, to protect your energy more, and to focus more on understanding yourself and your emotions more fully. So we're leaving Libra season, which was all about connecting with others, balancing out our energies, our relationships, and now we're moving into Scorpio, where it's kind of drawing back internally inside of yourself, understanding yourself more fully, understanding your own emotions more fully. You may find during this time that you're ready to recognize certain parts of your life as lessons that you're ready to shift through and release. This is truly a truth-seeking time. It's time to analyze your perception and to be sure that nothing is clouding your perception. So the challenge of Scorpio season is in the intensity. Curiosity and or passion can quickly turn into obsession if left unchecked. So that is one thing to be mindful of. Of course, every season has its lessons and its blessings. Okay, everyone has its benefits and its challenges as well. So if you're a Scorpio, claim your season. Let us know in the comments. If you have a Scorpio in your life, tag them and wish them a happy solar return. I am going to be turning, I had all my readings turned off on the website while I was out of town. I'm going to be turning those back on. As soon as I turn those back on, it is your time, Scorpios, to check out that birthday tarot reading on my website. Also, every time we move into a new astrological season, I always recommend some crystal recommendations for that season. Whether you are a Scorpio or not, we're all going to be navigating Scorpio season together, okay? And so there are some crystal recommendations for this season. First, I have labradorite as a crystal recommendation. Let's try to, there's that flash. Oh, I love labradorite so much. Labradorite is often considered the stone of transformation, and Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the planet of transformation. So this is really honoring that Pluto energy that Scorpio has and helping us to navigate some of those renewals, some of those death and rebirth in our life. Next, we have carnelian. So carnelian helps us to conquer our fears, right? And Scorpio is a very confronting energy. Scorpio was traditionally ruled by Mars, the planet of action and courage, before Pluto was discovered. So carnelian really pays honor to the passionate Mars side of Scorpio energy, while also lightening and brightening up this sometimes heavy and intense energy. Because remember, I said that one of the challenges of Scorpio season, which begins today, is the intensity. It's in the intensity. The next crystal I recommend to work with for Scorpio season is sodalite. So sodalite pairs logic with intuition, opening perceptions and blending observable information with those intuitive nudges. Scorpio is very perceptive, is extremely intuitive. The reason why Scorpio is so intuitive is because Scorpio is just as in tune with the messages received from the five senses, from the physical, from the tangible, from the observable, as they are with the messages received from intuition alone. And sodalite is going to really strengthen that gift. The next crystal I recommend for Scorpio season is snowflake obsidian, or really any obsidian, but I like snowflake obsidian the most, and here is why. Because snowflake obsidian adds additional properties of balance to the grounding and shielding properties of regular obsidian. So obsidian is a truth-telling stone. It is especially useful in shadow work to balance and integrate the light and the dark. Scorpio energy is normally very comfortable in the depths, in the dark, and may sometimes need the reminder to come back to the light. And that's why I like snowflake obsidian over just regular black obsidian for Scorpio season. All of these crystals are available on my website right now as the Scorpio season crystal bundle. And all of the zodiac bundles always come with a clear quartz, the master healer, to assist with any other energies that may arise during this astrological season. You can grab your Scorpio season crystal bundle now. I always only keep a bundle for the season that we are in. So you can go to twistedgoddesscrystals.com to grab your Scorpio season crystal bundle. One more time, happy birthday to all the Scorpios as we are walking into your season starting today. And then the big astrological event of the week that we're going to be talking about, Saturday, October 28th, we're having a full moon lunar eclipse at 5 degrees Taurus. This is a powerful eclipse. Now, it's only a partial eclipse, but this is still a very powerful eclipse because this eclipse is closing off the eclipse cycle that began at the end of 2021. Okay, so this is the culmination point of the lessons that you have been working with around the Taurus and Scorpio axis. See, the North Node left Taurus this summer and moved into Aries, but this is still going to be considered a North Node eclipse. So you should expect the cycles that come to completion because this is still a full moon, right? Even though it's a full moon eclipse, it's still a full moon. So this is still all about completion. This is still all about illumination, right? This is still all about celebration. So, but since it's a North Node eclipse, and North Node is the direction we're meant to head to learn the lessons that we're meant to learn, right? You should still expect the cycles that come to completion or the illumination that comes in for you during this eclipse to be something that helps you move forward with your purpose. Remember, last week or the week before last, we talked about the new moon eclipse, and new moons are typically a time when we see new beginnings come in. But last eclipse was a south node eclipse, and how I said, don't be tricked. Anything that comes into your life is meant to come into your life to revisit that lesson, close it off the cycle, and continue moving forward, right? So this is a north node eclipse, which means, but it's combined with that full moon energy of closing off cycles so that we can move forward, okay? So that means that any cycles that come to a close around the time of this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus on Saturday 28th, anything that comes to a close is meant for a higher purpose, is meant to close off that cycle to make room for something new to come in that is going to lead you closer to your soul purpose or your soul path. Okay, so if things come to a close, if cycles complete, if situationships, relationships, jobs come to an end, it's to make room for something better to come in, something more aligned to come in. Okay. I absolutely recommend that you keep a moon journal and jot down major themes present in your life at every new moon and every full moon. If you do this, I would look back to the lunar eclipse in Taurus back in November of 2021 to see what cycles are possibly coming to completion right now, because these are going to be very connected. That November 2021 lunar eclipse in Taurus opened the cycle. This one is closing it. Okay. So you may see similar themes that you were struggling with or working through at that time coming into completion and wrapping up now. Since that time, we as a collective were being asked to pay closer attention to Taurus themes, because Taurus was our north node at the time, our collective north node at the time. So we were working on moving towards self-worth, moving towards values, moving towards resources, moving towards honoring our finances, moving towards finding our comfort zones where we felt comfortable. And we were being asked to release Scorpio themes that were holding us back. We were being asked to release codependency and unhealthy attachments, both emotionally and financially. Now watch for how these themes show up for you as we get closer to this powerful and transformative eclipse, and watch how those are kind of coming to completion, coming to fulfillment, because we're now working with the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, which is a completely different energy and a completely different focus, and we've moved on to that eclipse cycle. This cycle is closing off the last one we've been working with. Okay, so this is really, I've heard other astrologers refer to this eclipse on Saturday, October 28th as a graduation period. Now, Pluto is going to be very active under this eclipse, creating a square aspect, and square aspects are challenging aspects to both the moon and the sun. This is a reminder to allow the cycle to close. Pluto is the planet of transformation, of death and rebirth, but Pluto can also tend to make us want to hold tighter and resist letting go. So you may find that you're confronting parts of yourself under this eclipse. Remember that eclipses are said to bring about fated experiences. Surrender, let go, loosen your grip. You can look to see where 5 degrees of Taurus is in your birth chart to see what house and therefore what area of your life you can expect to see transformation and cycles closing. I will also be posting more information by your rising sign, doing that work for you later this week. Okay. But if you have your birth chart handy, you can open that up and look to see where 5 degrees of Taurus is, to look to see where this full moon lunar eclipse is going to be happening in your chart and where it's going to be activating for you if you want to go ahead and get a head start on that. Okay. So that is our astrology of the week. As most of you know, I also like to pull a couple cards at the end of the astrology portion just to kind of get some more guidance, some more insight, and see if we missed anything. So from the Tarot of Transformation deck, I have the 8 of Discs, which is like the 8 of Pentacles in a tarot deck, or the 8 of Coins. Some decks call it that. So the 8 of Discs, the 8 of Pentacles, or the 8 of Coins is typically representing representing perseverance, continuing forward, continuing with our lessons, continuing with our growth, continuing to work hard on the things that we want to master in life, because 8 is a number of mastery, of both spiritual mastery and of physical mastery, but this is in the physical world. Now, this deck, the Tarot of Transformation, takes a little bit of a different spin on some of the card meanings and kind of makes them a little bit more transformative, a little bit more spiritual in nature, more focused on self-growth, on spiritual development. So this card does represent stamina, perseverance, steadfastness, prudence, and perfecting your craft, right? And so this takes the same general focus, but it focuses more in a skillful perseverance way. It's honoring our energy levels. It's about being more gentle with yourself and finding that balance. I love that this card is coming up. It's talking about knowing when to keep pushing forward and knowing when to let go. So it's about not giving up. It's about moving forward, but it's also about knowing when to honor your energy levels and saying taking a break doesn't mean I'm stopping. I'm going to say that one more time because I feel like somebody else needs to hear that. Taking a break doesn't mean I'm stopping or I'm giving up. It just means that I'm honoring my energy levels, talking about being in Scorpio season, talking about being regenerative. I'm regenerating my energy so I can keep moving forward. Remember, we're in a time of eclipse right now. It can be a draining energy. It can feel very draining. We can feel low energy. We can feel as though we don't have the energy to move forward, okay? So if you need to take a break, if you need to take a rest, that doesn't mean you're giving up. I tell people often that 2 steps forward and 1 step back in the long run is still 1 step from where you were to start with, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. In the long run, if you continually take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, you're still moving at a forward momentum. You're still moving at a forward momentum. Hey, Trinell. And then our last card before we wrap up this week's Astro forecast is from the Wisdom of Women Goddess deck, a collaborative deck with 42 real women and their real messages. I am in this deck and some of my other beautiful friends are. This is not available to the public just now, so you get a little sneak preview here. And this week we have the Bliss Mama card from my beautiful friend Chelsea Novacell of Sea Yoga. And I love this card coming out for this week. I'm going to read her words, her message that she wrote for this deck, and then we'll talk about how it applies to this week. So she says, "You are bliss. You come from a place of pure, unconditional love. Over time, layers of untruths can cover this blissful energy. It is time to unpeel the layers and release what is not true. Let go of worry, shame, and blame. Take a few big exhales to let go of any energy that is not of the high vibration. Roll your shoulders back and open your heart center. Allow divine energy to flow through your heart. Love, peace, and nurturing energy are all here now. Let your actions become acts of devotion, and soon enough you will feel the tingling sensation of blissful energy flowing through you." Affirmation: I am everlasting blissful energy. Journal prompt: how can I connect to loving, nurturing energy right now? I love this for many reasons because it is talking about, first of all, it's talking about uncovering the layers of untruths. Hello, Scorpio season. Hello, diving to the depths. Hello, allowing your regenerative abilities to come forward, confronting yourself. I already talked about how Pluto, the planet, the modern planet that rules Scorpio, is going to be active during this lunar eclipse while the sun is in Scorpio and the moon is in Taurus. And it is really talking, and Taurus is a very blissful energy. It is about the physical pleasures in life that we get to experience. So I love that this is all talking about, you know, how during this uncovering process, how during this very confronting time, how during this very somewhat chaotic and draining eclipse portal, can we still come back and find North Node eclipse, Taurus, the bliss, the simple pleasures in life? Okay, so keep that in mind as you walk through this week that is going to be transformative, but also can be tough and chaotic and draining and can seem like everything's, look at the death card, which represents Scorpio. It can seem like everything, you're losing everything, when in reality, you're just making space for something more aligned to come in. And that is what this week can feel like. Okay. So that is not a fear mongering. I don't like fear mongering tactics in astrology. It's just what it is. It is a full moon coming to completion, closing off cycles, eclipse in the North Node, which means those cycles that come to completion are meant to make space to bring something more aligned in your life. And I'll say it over and over and over again. The Tower card in the tarot is the most feared card in the tarot deck because it represents change. And change is scary, even if it's change that we asked for, even if it's change that we need, even if it's change that is going to ultimately invite greater bliss and peace and happiness and alignment into our life. It's still scary. Okay? So that is our Astro forecast for this week. So much love. If you have any questions, let me know. If you missed the beginning of the Astro forecast, this will be available as a replay. You can come back and rewatch as many times as you'd like. So much love.